Hey everyone, I'm Nathan, and today we're doing the Moonpaw Challenge. Now, if you don't know, Moonpaw is this little guy right here, and he was created by Karina over on the Drawfee channel. Karina essentially confirmed that Moonpaw was just a combination of Sailor Moon and Gorgomon, so I'm using the same formula today in order to do something I'm calling the Moonpaw Challenge, which is when I take this formula to produce new side characters for the Moonpaw universe. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the speed draw. For this illustration, I wanted to set it inside an arcade, mainly because in my research I found this gif of Usagi driving one of those steering wheel racing video games. And I just thought it was a cute location, so I sort of lifted that image for my background here. And as you can see, I'm currently drawing Moonpaw. I absolutely love their design. They are so cool. And for this piece, I wanted to include all of the known contributors, like the people in the Moonpaw universe so far. So I had to include Lon and Sai, who were featured in the video that I was in at Drawfee. Anyway, so they're in here too. They're the ones that are playing the racing game in the background, mainly because I thought it would be really cute to have Sai like just jerking his head in the middle of a racing game. Like, that was just so funny to me. Yeah, but they're facing away from us because they're not the focal point of this image. We wanted to keep it on Moonpaw, and they're friends. So basically, I'm drawing Moonpaw right now in like his civilian attire, because I imagine the magical girl transformation outfit will be more or less the same for all of the side characters. And also, I don't know if these side characters are also magical girls, like I think they are. But really, I don't know anything about the world of Moonpaw. Karina won't tell me. Like, I don't even fully understand the rules. Like, is everyone an animal person? Or is it just these characters? We know that they have like a human form and half animal form and a little guy form. And I just don't know if that's true for everybody or if they're just, you know, special because they're the protagonists of the show. I have to make that up, but if I ever get more canon information on how the world of Moonpaw works, I'll do a whole video covering that, I'm sure. Our first combination of characters comes from Johan Johnson, and it's Sailor Mercury with Tentomon. And I thought this was interesting because it was a pairing based not on aesthetic, but on their personalities. And every time I look at Tentomon, he is just giving such weird girl energy. Does that make sense? So this is sort of like some rough concept art. I don't actually refine this drawing, but I just wanted to sort of explore some of the color decision making in a separate file to get my head on straight for what this girl was gonna look like. Ami was also my favorite character when I was watching this as a little kid. I wanted to be her so badly because she was like really shy and just like mysterious and cool, and I was not that girl, y'all. I was literally Usagi to a T. Like, I was so obnoxious. It's not even funny. I got the idea to give her like an aviator hat and goggles because Tentomon's face just kind of looks like that headgear in my opinion, and I just felt like it matched the aesthetic really well. But in this initial pass with the coloring, she looked way too schoolgirl and nerdy, which is accurate, but y'all, I wanted weird girl. So after like looking at Pinterest, I realized I needed more textures, more layers of clothing, and that's exactly what I did. Our second pairing is Sailor Jupiter and Palmon. This comes from Lucky Paradox, and I didn't exactly go with a cottagecore vibe because the whole look of Palmon just kind of screamed flower power to me, which is what I've sort of been calling this character. And also because I used green so prominently for the weird girl, for flower power, I wanted to kind of really lean into the pinks, so it's kind of minimal on greens. But if you actually look at some of her outfits for the show, she does have a lot of citrusy oranges in her color palette. That's how I justified the whole thing. Also, she has pink hair because that was the one specificity Lucky requested, so I wanted to deliver on that. You can see here with these colors, I leaned much more into 70s flower power go-go boots kind of a vibe. And our last combination comes from two different people. So Christopher Schneider was like, can you fusion Gorgomon and Tuxedo Mask, which makes me very happy. Then Tarthliner suggested the same fusion fusion, but with Impmon, and I didn't really lean into that as much, but I did take the sort of red coloration for inspiration. But yeah, I really love Gargomon. He's like, I think my favorite Digimon, and also the first Digimon I ever remember seeing on the television screen, so I just like his cute bunniness. And yeah, the one detail I really wanted to be faithful to was the jorts. So no matter what, he was going to be wearing jorts, and so I was going to give him this like crop top that sort of with long sleeves matches the silhouette of the green part of Gargomon's face, but I end up not liking that. Getting back to the actual illustration, I start out with Flower Power, and her vibes were just very Daisy Head Maisie. Like, did anyone read that Dr. Seuss book as a kid? I don't think I ever actually read it, but a librarian read it to me, and I think she showed us like a cartoon movie. That's all I could think about, because it's like, as previously stated, I do not know the rules to this world, so I don't know if like a plant person is allowed. Maybe. So I don't know if I should have done like a literal flower coming out of her head. I do put 2 flowers in her hair, and it's sort of ambiguous. Like, I need to know, could I have gone weirder? Like, could I have made her a full-on cactus girl? It's possible, but also everyone's sort of in their human forms, so I wanted that kind of, we're just at the mall hanging out vibe, not we're about to kick butt and be a superhero vibe. You can see now that I'm currently putzing with her bangs. I wanted her to look a little more differentiated from Makoto, so I went with a more like straight across cut for her bangs, and it was really fun to design this outfit. I really loved like the beveled sleeves and this very 70s pattern. I just wanted it to be very sort of psychedelic and fun and flowery. One thing that I do change from the concept art that you see was the initial pass is going to be very, very orange, and it stays that way for a long time. Like, I think I'm well into the 3rd character before I go back and I futz with the colors more. Yeah, but I'm gonna eventually lean into more pinks, but not at the beginning. At this stage, I'm about to get rid of that hair clip and then replace it with the flowers that are maybe growing out of her scalp, I don't know. And then we're gonna have a little bit of hand trouble, like we always do, just artist things. Yeah, I kind of futz around with this hand because I wanted her to be sort of like touching her hair, because whenever my hair is longer, I'm always sort of like fiddling with it when I'm nervous. And I imagine that she is currently listening to Moonpaw have sort of a moment of inspiration. Like, I imagine that this is sort of towards the beginning of an episode when a problem has already presented itself and Moonpaw has just come up with like a harebrained solution to the problem. That's why Moonpaw is like very excited, and she's like, oh boy, like I just thought of this idea for how we're gonna figure this out. And the Flower Power girl is like, I don't know about that, Moonpaw, maybe we shouldn't. And now I'm inking the weird girl. I really love these characters. I imagine that the Flower Power girl is like the very nice, sweet girl, and maybe she's a bit more, popular and outgoing, whereas Weird Girl is definitely more of a nerd. Like, I think that she's that kid who has like this really kind of strange sense of fashion, because they sort of just dress like a grandma, but they want to also express themselves, so they added like everything. They're like also fishnets, also leg warmers, like the whole 9 yards. But they're still very smart and very shy, despite having such clashing patterns. Also, the reason for that concept art you saw at the beginning is because I knew I wanted to have the weird girl in this pose. Like, I wanted her legs to be up, sort of like, when you're sort of curled up in a ball, it just makes yourself smaller. And whenever I was shy at school as a kid, I just remember sort of like sitting in this position and just trying to make yourself take up as little space as possible. And because this position and this pose really obscures her outfit, there wasn't a lot of room for exploration, and I thought of that ahead of time, which is why I did all of that concept art towards the beginning. Ugh, I really loved improvising this 70s pattern. It's so fun and so like rainbow melting, drain drop kind of it's just so fun. The flowers in her hair I modeled after California poppies, which are this beautiful kind of yellow color. Her outfit does give a little cheesy to me in this iteration because of that orange tangerine color. Like I said previously, that will become pink later, so just mind the cheese for now. And I don't think it is that bad of an outfit if her hair was also orange, you know, going for a more analogous color scheme, but we have that pink, and so it's just I needed the outfit to relate to her hair more. Moonpaw was interesting to color because I end up like color picking from some Karina fan art, Karina canon art. Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Anyway, I had to make some of these colors up a little bit just because this is not, you know, it's a more casual everyday outfit for her to have. And then, now we're getting into our final pairing, which is my husband, Mamoru, with that frickin' dog bunny Digimon, Gorgomon. Mamoru really was so dreamy as a kid. I just remember being very little and renting the frickin' Sailor Moon R movie from Blockbuster, and just the way that this little boy gave another little boy a rose, like it was so romantic and queer. Oh my gosh, my little heart could explode. But this design was not originally working for me because it was too separated. It was just Mamoru wearing Gorgomon like merchandise, and I really wanted to combine the characters together. And one way for doing that was just by changing the body type from this like skinny six-pack guy to someone who was a little more thick, because Gorgomon is a little thick. Yeah, I don't think I have to explain myself there. You're welcome. Enjoy that cake. And I positively adore how I made his jorts have his like pocket sticking out. It's like the most irreverent, funniest, lovely kind of character choice, because it means that he liked these pants so much because of the pockets, and he was, you know, he cut them off himself. I like that he's a bunny. I love his bunny ears and his headphones. He starts out very, you know, pink in his coloration, but in the end, I managed to make his skin tone be more naturalistic, but still have a lot more melanin in it than the other characters have currently on screen. The current skin tone could have worked if the other skin tones were a little more unnatural and vibrant, but I really wanted to match everyone's sort of this realistic kind of coloration for the skin tones. I completely blitzed through Lon and Sai, and then at this point, all of the drawings are pretty much done, but before I did the background, Drawfee released their annual redrawing portraits video, and it made me super jealous, mainly because all of their art, as always, just keeps getting better and better, and I feel like these particular portraits really reflect how their personalities are, like, so well. I think they actually said that in the video. And also, this is the return of Weird Julia. Like, I love when Julia's portraits don't match the other ones, and it's just kind of subtly horrific. All just looked so great that I took a moment to kind of redesign my portrait. Obviously, as you could tell from the beginning of the video, I did not finish this in time. But I just got so excited that I started drawing, and I didn't want to like devote an entire video to redrawing my portrait, mainly because I have so many different expressions that I need to redraw. I just don't think it'll be that interesting. So whenever I finish, it's just gonna happen. And I also love how like I had all of these reference images, but in my mind I was like, but it's summer. It's summer. I can't be wearing a sweater and long pants. It's summer in Georgia. I'm hot. Which makes no sense. Like, if this is my portrait, one, it exists inside the computer, so there's probably air conditioning in there. I don't know. And two, people watch this video at any time of the year. Like, it's such an archived art form, YouTube. So I could have been wearing anything. But I still was like, it's summer, so I have to be wearing shorts, sleeves, and pants. I also just wanted it to have more of a fun quality. Like, I wanted there to be this heart motif, and so I give myself this like really fun cowboy shirt, and I put some like embroidery on the shorts just because I wanted to add some whimsy. I felt like there was a lack of creativity with the fashion for my first portrait, because in my mind I just wanted it to be as simple as possible, but now I don't know, it's a new year, new me. I don't know how they just immediately blitz out another like profile every year. I literally wanted mine to be around the same size so you could see I was just drawing on top of the old one. I guess maybe they fixed that in post. I don't know. But that just seems like so much pressure to be doing live. Maybe that's why people keep coming back for those videos. They're always so good, and it sort of feels like it's a high wire act. Like, ooh, if you mess this up, it'll be that way for a year, so don't do that. I think it's really cute so far. Like I said, I didn't finish this, but I got enough progress done that I was like, I'll show them what I've been working on in the middle of this moon paw video. That's what the people want. Yeah, I don't know. So be looking forward to that. Keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, back to the drawing, we start doing the background, which was really fun to do. Mainly because I was working off of such a lovely piece of reference. It just makes my job so much easier. And then for the coloration and texture, I really wanted to kind of go for a Steven Universe kind of a look. So I was looking at the arcade from that show and just trying to get the colors to match and like the sparkles and the purples, and I think it looks pretty good. Also, if you have photosensitivity, like a bit of a flash warning for this whole section, I don't think it's too bad, but there is a little bit of strobing with the coloring. I really do love all of these beautiful purples. Especially when I start going ham on the glowing effects, it just all comes together. One thing kind of continuity error, I guess, is that for their racing video game, I end up putting these shapes that almost make it look like Galaga, but it's a racing game, so I don't know why I did that. But yeah, with all of that being done, I just add all of these beautiful highlights, and you can see that I had this sort of like blue shadow over everyone, but it ended up making them too obscured with the background. So I get rid of that and just keep the highlights, and it looks really good. I'm very proud of how this turned out. I think the last thing I do is just blur the outlines, and there we go. This is the finished illustration. I am so in love with it. I can't even describe how fun it is. I think my favorite is the Flower Power Girl. They both need names, I guess. So if you have any suggestions, please leave those in the comments down below on what we should name these 3 new Moonpaw OCs. While you're down there, feel free to like, subscribe. Also comment who is your favorite out of all of them. Did I already say that? I don't know. But I told you mine, so it only seems fair. And if you really want to support the channel, feel free to check me out on Patreon. All of these suggestions came from Patreon. That's where I get all of my ideas. So I can't ever get to everyone, but your choice would probably get picked eventually. And you can get in and just start making suggestions for $2. But if you want your name in the end credits, it's $4. That's such a wonderful deal. That's like a coffee? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, speaking of end credits, here they are now. Special thanks to Anna SB, Axilius the Great, Blurryface EXE, Blue Uwu, K Clark, Christopher, Crystal NM, Dabadoodoo, Dax Quinn, MOE, Fro, Game of Catan on IG, Grey Gay Mothman, Gay Jairus, Haru the Moo, J Johar, JD Boy 2000, Lucky Paradox, Melon, Mild Mothman, Native Runner, Orion Amastasia, Pinecone, Poopy Tom, Prance, Redward, Rin, Scorching Ray, Sir Camelot, Smalls the Sax Jammer, Shenanigans, Thumper Daytime, Tortilla Chip, Tony, Tarthalinor, Tuesdays Anyways, Tad the Turtle, Tundra Katie Bean, and Tuppence Pies. My name is Nathan. I upload a new video every weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye!